We have two big pieces of news to discuss this morning. We have news out of Buffalo. Jack Eichel has been stripped of the captaincy, and Evander Kane is basically suspended. He will not be going to camp with the San Jose Sharks. We'll discuss these two situations coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant breaking news here today from two organizations. First, we'll start with the news that came out really late last night from the San Jose Sharks announcing that Evander Kane will not be attending training camp. Of course, earlier yesterday, we talked about the fact that Kane had been cleared of the allegations that he bet on hockey games. That part is fine. He's, kind of cleared of any wrongdoing that way, but there was also new allegations brought forth, which just came to light in the past 24 to 48 hours from his former spouse, obviously accusing him of some pretty horrific things. So, of course, we'll have to see what goes through on the legal side in the courts. If he, is found guilty or whatever, that's up to them to decide. We're not here to make judgment that way. These are some pretty serious allegations. Obviously, when it comes to sexual misconduct, domestic violence, those things are not to be taken lightly. And the Sharks basically, take it very seriously. And now that we're here at a situation where camp is, underway, that they can't have him there. So essentially, he's basically suspended indefinitely pending the investigation. The league's looking into this. But I would imagine that because of the allegations that they're likely going to have to let this play out in court would be my best guess here. So to me, he's not going to be with the Sharks for some time if I had to fathom a guess. There's no timetable on this situation, and it's basically until things are far enough along in the investigation process here to kind of determine what happened and what he may or may not be guilty of. So obviously, like we talked about Kane a lot here over the course of the offseason, there's a lot of concerns over the betting allegations, over everything that transpired very publicly with his public bankruptcy and just how he portrays himself. There was teammates apparently had talked to management about concerns over him and not wanting to be on the team with him and all those types of things. So clearly this is a situation where he's basically being removed. He's not going to be at camp, and we'll have to wait and see where things go. You have to think, though, that there's a real good chance that his NHL career could be over. I'm not really sure how this is all going to play out. I mean, obviously, if he ends up being cleared of everything, I would think that, there's a chance he could resume. However, if he's found guilty of any of these things, then it's obviously that's a pretty serious thing, and it's going to have a major impact on everything moving forward. So I don't know from a cap perspective how this is going to work for the Sharks. For right now, I guess where the season's not even officially started yet, they'll probably take the next few weeks and see how everything plays out and where everything goes and make a further decision based on that. I would think, though, that the league likely would give them some leeway on cap, but hard to say with any kind of certainty on how that part of the equation here is going to be handled. But obviously this will be a situation that is continued to be discussed as new information arises here from this. Now, the other big news we got this morning is the Buffalo Sabres GM Kevin Adams did announce that they have officially stripped Jack Eichel of the captaincy of the team. Now, of course, we talked about this in the past day or so as well, based on information in the latest blog from Elliotte Friedman discussing how he thought this was a real possibility. This was something that was likely going to happen. Well, it indeed actually has. Adams says in a press conference this morning that he spoke with Eichel in the past 2 days, spoke with the team as well, and advised them of the decision. The rationale behind it is he said he feels like the captain is like the heartbeat of the team, and if he's not going to be there, then he shouldn't be the captain. They discussed the trade value, that they have a set value, and what they feel like he's worth when he's healthy, and that they're kind of set on that. They also mentioned when it comes to the neck issue that he did fail his physical as many expected, and that they still are at this point not in agreement on the surgery. But he also made mention that the Sabres were hoping to avoid surgery altogether, is what he said, which I find extremely surprising because they already went through a period where they were in disagreement on how to handle the injury a number of months ago, a period of 6 weeks of rest. And at that point, it was believed that if nothing was any better, that they were going to discuss the surgery Eichel wanted further and decide how to proceed and work out a trade, all that stuff. And obviously the rest never solved the problem. So I don't know how it is just now that they're coming to the conclusion that there is no way to avoid the surgery. But he did say that they have not wavered on their opinion at all, that if surgery was going to be required, that it's the fusion surgery that should be done, not the disc replacement surgery. And of course, as we've discussed before, if that is indeed the road that he does eventually go down, which he does not want to, he will be out of action for an extended period of time. I mean, once it's fused, it's fused. It's like a permanent thing, right? It's not like putting a Band-Aid on and you can eventually rip it off. Once it's done, it is done. But disc replacement surgery obviously would be different. There are some good results on other procedures that have been done, obviously not necessarily in the hockey world, but obviously that his main doctor that he was talking to and he that are using as the comparables, I guess you could say, on why he feels it's a good idea. Anyways, it would be a much quicker recovery and not so permanent down the road. Anyway, it's hard to say. This is just getting messier by the day here. So Eichel is going to be on injured reserve. Won't be with the team since he's not cleared to play. And I'm not sure when he's going to have his surgery and what the surgery is going to be. Clearly at this point, the Sabres appear to want to continue to talk trade. But a lot of teams, I think at this point, are at the point that they really want to see a healthy Eichel. I mean, you would think, and this is just me speculating, that if a trade was going to happen without him being cleared to play, that it was going to happen by now. I don't think there's too many teams that want to spend the kind of return that we're talking about here for a healthy Eichel on an unhealthy Eichel, only to find out that he's not going to be a good asset down the road. They're going to want to see that everything's done and that it's obviously back and he's able to play and contribute like they are hoping for. So really hard to say where this goes. When is an Eichel trade going to happen? I don't know. I have a feeling this could drag on for some time. But first and foremost here, they have to agree on how to make him healthy. And until they can do that, I'm not sure that we're going to really see any resolution to this at all. I don't know if he can dispute things through the NHLPA or how that's going to work. I know that he's already fired his agent and has a new agent who's like one of the biggest names in hockey agencies, Pat Brisson, working on this. So like we said before, if anybody has the ability to use their influence to get a better situation for Eichel, it would be him. So we'll see where things goes and kind of go from there. Head coach Don Granato was also quoted as saying that he did not feel the Eichel situation was a distraction for the team. I find that extremely surprising as well. How can it not be a distraction? It's like a chaotic circus, in my opinion, with the biggest star player that the franchise has had in some time. And now look at what's going on here. I don't know how it cannot be a distraction, but obviously those playing in Buffalo this year probably expected him to not really be there based on everything that's been in the media and the public. And at the same time, they're probably not expecting them to be a great team this year. So I guess maybe if you look at things differently, you won't really care too much about what's going on. You just focus on yourself and trying to do the best you can and help the team. And away you go. Maybe it won't be much of a distraction. It's really hard to say. But at the end of the day here, in my opinion, this is just a bad look, considering that they're just saying today that they were trying to avoid surgery and they just figured out that they can't. I don't know how they couldn't have come to that conclusion months ago. I mean, and obviously Adams reiterated again, they trust their doctors and that they're standing by them, and we'll see where this goes. But it just, I don't know. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for Eichel. Frustrating for everybody, and the sooner they can come to a conclusion here on how to fix this, the better. But I have no idea. It could be quite some time. So let me know what your thoughts are on these two significant news stories coming out here this morning. Down in the comments, we'll discuss further. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.